All right. So, my point of view. I was born and raised and went to college in Colorado. I come from privilege, and it's important that you understand my point of view, so it puts me into context of what I'm going to say. But I grew up feeling safe, and I didn't want for anything, but I wasn't given more than I could have asked for. My wife, Katie, and I moved to Baltimore about 5 years ago to start Single Carrot Theater. There were 10 of us who moved here originally. We had passion, vision, intelligence, but no real idea of how to start a business or any of the issues that we were getting ourselves into, and we moved here with $3,000 to start our theater company. We strategically picked Baltimore from a list of 50 cities. Our criteria were a big city with a small city feel, a city that recognized the value of arts as an integral part of the city, an area not saturated with theater, a welcoming arts community, and of course, good cost of living. To a group of 20 to 23-year-olds, Baltimore exemplified this American dream that we'd grown up hearing about. The community was eager to help. No one wanted to actively stand in our way. We moved here with no connections apart from my sister and her husband, and next year Single Carrot will have a budget of $250,000. After working at New Arts Foundry and a couple of other places, Center Stage, Everyman, last year, in January, I became the second executive director of the Greater Baltimore Cultural Alliance. Nancy Harrigan, the founder, spent the first 10 years of the organization helping to bring the cultural community together. GBCA is a member-based organization. We serve organizations, individuals, coalitions, groups large and small. GBCA plays 4 key roles in the community, that of connector, of broker, of thought leader, and as an advocate. So there's major challenges facing the cultural community. One is funding. Public, private, and corporate funding is decreasing in Baltimore. Audiences, for a myriad of reasons, we still have really segregated audiences in Baltimore. And lastly, state of mind. We spend more time as a community thinking about our challenges than our opportunities. Here's a Mark Twain quote. It doesn't seem like Mark Twain. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the things you did. So you can read it. There's opportunities. Catch the trade winds in your sails. That's what it says. So there are several untapped opportunities for the cultural community and other communities here. They include new technology. Baltimore is a college town. Diversity of the city, innovative and enterprising artists and cultural workers, a strong nonprofit sector, and 21st century audiences eager to be engaged. So speaking of audience engagement, what opportunities did I leave off? Anybody? You can't, well, I understand, but there's opportunities. Stew about all the myriad of opportunities that are out there for you that you just can't pick. So, if we acknowledge that there are indeed trade winds, we need to build the sails in order to catch the wind. So I've heard many people say that Baltimore is at a special point in its history, so how can we make sure to catch it and extend it and build upon it instead of watching it pass us by? The solution is partnerships. It's all about partnerships. Doing it yourself is great, but take your talents, combine them with somebody else's, and do it together. One of the reasons I personally love doing theater is it's a total art form that's completely collaborative, and being a better collaborator is more important than being a better artist. So the problems that we face are too huge. What would happen if we viewed every public action our organizations take as a partnership? So think of catching a trade wind as a partnership between the wind and the sail. They're working together to propel the ship forward. So here's 7 tenets that I just made up arbitrarily for creating a successful partnership. And I want you to think with a lens of your audience, if you have an audience. So first, plan together from the start. And second, partnerships are based on mutual trust and respect for the other party. Do you trust and respect your audience? Partnerships build on strengths, but they also acknowledge areas for improvement. So in your partnership with your audience, are you taking that into account? Partnerships balance power among the participants. What kind of power are you giving your audience over the programming that you're presenting? 5, there must be active listening and communication between all parties. We hope that we do this with our audiences, but we don't do it enough. And 6, partners share credit for the successes. You know that you depend on your audiences. Do your audiences know that you depend on them? And 7, successful partnerships take time, patience, and commitment. So how many of these things do you do with your audience now, or whoever you serve? And how would adopting this approach to creating your programming change your work? How much more successful would your programming be if you did this? Partnership is just another word for engagement. So going back to those 6 opportunities we detailed before, new technologies, Baltimore is a college town, innovative and enterprising artists and culture workers, a strong nonprofit sector, and 21st century audiences eager to be engaged. So think about those 6, at least those 6 things, and if the cultural community can form partnerships with or around each of these opportunities, it can easily overcome our issues of audiences and funding. But going back to the beginning of the presentation where I talked about that I'm a transplant and someone with a background of privilege and I'm achieving the American dream here in Baltimore, I feel like I'm a carpetbagger. So what partnerships do we in this room need to form so that a Baltimore native, being raised maybe in poverty today, can achieve the same dream and can be here standing instead of me, some person from Colorado who's coming here? I shouldn't be the person standing here. So thank you.